Kia ora, welcome. My name is Jade Benioni, for those of you who have never spoken with me before. And I am going to be taking you through the rebuild journey, and just to explain and help you connect to what the rebuild is, who it's for, and what we're going to be doing. So the rebuild is a program that I put together based on my experience. I've been a coach for 13 plus years, helping people change behavior, improve performance. And in the last 5.5 years, I have been building a coaching and consulting practice from the ground up. And in 2019, I left my career in the technology space and went all in on building this coaching and consulting practice. And in order to do that, I had to rebuild who I was. And it was very much on the fly. It was very much flying blind and kind of like just winging it, to be honest. And as I sit here in 2021, I'm kind of like, it's time to create something for all the people that are really wanting to, create something, make more impact, be ambitious, really create something to help people stay grounded, focused, and calm in and amongst the challenges and the chaos that can unfold as we go on journeys of creating change. So the rebuild is for ambitious men and women who are Indigenous and or intuitive. And that's a reflection of who I am. So it's not to say that anyone that doesn't fit that description is not welcome into the rebuild, not at all. But it's just about understanding who I am and knowing that my message and how I teach and the way that I teach and the stories that I share will best suit and best resonate with ambitious men and women who are Indigenous and or intuitive, as that is who I am, and those are the teachings that I draw on. So for these people, and why they would be drawn to the rebuild, why you may be drawn to the rebuild, is despite everything that these people have achieved and have done in their career, in their lifetime, they still feel unsupported, frustrated, and depleted at times, and spend a lot of time wondering why that is. Why when I've done all this work, why when I have applied myself, why do these things keep coming up, and why can I never seem to kind of overcome them completely, or get a really good hold on these situations. And so the rebuild was built so that it can help people once and for all understand why they do what they do, why they experience what they experience, why they feel what they feel, and equip people with the knowledge to do so, and equip them with the tools to be able to understand what they need to focus on in order to create alternative realities, outcomes, to actualize a new way of living. And before we jump any further into the map, what I want to speak to you about is in order to understand the rebuild and the motivations behind it, I want to talk to you about something that I have labeled called the 3 universal areas of chaos, because this is really what motivated the rebuild. And these areas are shitty relationships. The second one is frustrating finances. And the third one is lack of time and energy. Now, of course, people want to experience supportive relationships. People want to experience and have flowing financial situations. People want to experience, just need to make some room here, bear with me. People want to experience lots of time and energy versus lacking time and energy. Lots of time and energy. People want to move out of these limiting, very chaotic situations, right? But they don't know how. They don't know why they're in the situations in the first place, and they don't know how to move out of them. And this is what the rebuild is designed for, is to help people to move into more supportive spaces and relationships, experience more flow financially, and experience more, an abundance of time and energy. So in order to do that, we are working with, and I'm going to take you through this in a moment. In order to successfully do this, we needed a map, because with a map, we know where we're going. It means we're clear on the steps that we need to take and where we need to go next. It means we don't get lost, okay? And moving ourselves from a state of survival, which is really what those three universal areas of chaos are. They're us stuck in survival, because when something hits the fan, like when we're in a shitty relationship, when we're experiencing frustration in finances, we are giving everything that we have, every ounce of our money, our energy, to try and fix and remedy and diffuse the situations. Everything goes there, and everything else that we were working towards expanding on and creating, everything else gets put on the back burner until these areas become, until we can put the fires out. And that's why, for me, putting out fires in these three universal areas of chaos is survival. And I don't want people to be surviving. I want people to be solid. And so we are here to rebuild our internal authority, okay, our internal authority within, to be able to move into supportive relationships, flowing financial situations, and having lots of time and energy. And so the map allows us to move from survival into having solid foundations and authority. Knowledge is power. And in the rebuild, I've been a coach for 13 plus years, and have applied and studied human behavior for five and a half. Now, because I had prior experience as a coach, all of my focus went into understanding the codes and patterns, because I didn't need to understand how to coach. I knew how to coach and how to help somebody, guide somebody from A to B without telling them what to do. I understood what, the fundamentals, and how, I've been coaching for quite some years before I stepped into the human behavior coaching space. And so all of my knowledge that I have acquired in terms of human behavior codes and tools are inside of the rebuild. And when we have knowledge, we're like, we know what we didn't know. We finally know something we didn't know, and it's like, now I know why I do what I do. Now I know why I experience what I experience. And when we've got the tools as well, like when we add the tools with that, it allows us to take action. And when we take action, that's when we actualize a new reality. When we have the knowledge to change our thinking and we take action with tools, powerful tools, that's when we can actualize a new reality for ourselves. So very powerful stuff. Now I want to talk to you just a little bit about what is really going on here. Yeah. So if we are experiencing shitty relationships, that has got to do with self-esteem. And in the rebuild, one of our core pillars here is to understand why we lack self-esteem, what we need to do in order to build self-esteem, and learning the tools and the practices that specifically help us to build self-esteem. Same thing over here. When it comes to bettering our financial situation, we've got to understand attraction and why we are sometimes in financial situations that we don't want to be in. What we need to understand and learn in order to, change that situation, and then learning and practicing the tools that will help us move into more flowing finances. Same thing with lacking time and energy. We need to understand the pillar of embodiment and what happens when we are in our body and when we're not, and why we're sometimes in situations where we're so depleted, and what we need to do in order to be more in our body and how to get into our body. So each of these pillars helps us to build our internal authority, right? And for each pillar, we are just repeating, we're going through and understanding why we do, what we need to do about it, and what are the tools that are going to help us to specifically change this, and the ABCs of it. So it is repetition, repetition, repetition inside of the rebuild. The rebuild is a 6-month journey, okay? And it is that way so that we've got enough time to learn, to train, and also to integrate and to contemplate, and really work with both our masculine and feminine, both incorporate our central world, our emotional world, and also taking action and applying things. So we've got, let's just say, 3 months to really be feeling into, and ensuring that we're embodied, and then 3 months, roughly, this is just a guide, a map, but 3 months to really be taking that action and working to improve those areas. For me, it's really important that we're not one or the other, because anything that's imbalanced and is too much in the fields or too much taking action, it's imbalanced, and we're going to have to come back later. So really how the rebuild is structured is so that we have got that balance right up front. So it's a 6-month journey. We are a community, so this is a group program, and there is a community on Facebook, and in this community we've got support. So I provide mentoring, community calls, and there is also an opportunity for people, if they are in a position to have me mentor them one-on-one throughout the duration of the 6 months. So if you want to understand, if you want to further this conversation, just reach out to me, and with the word rebuild call, just message me, Dad, or send me an email, however we've been in contact, and we can continue this conversation about which journey might be best for you, whether it's you coming in and going through the coaching program in the community and receiving support inside of the group, or whether it's one-on-one mentoring during the 6 months. We can discuss that and see what is best in alignment. So yeah, if you want to get in touch and continue the conversation, just hit me up with these couple of words, and then I will know that and I'll know to send you over my calendar so that we can book in a discovery call about how the rebuild may or may not be in alignment for you. And at the end of that call, we will know, and we'll know in what capacity. So I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions, I look forward to speaking with you and answering them. All right, bye.